If you've seen my last video, then you know that we used the new Morphe eyeshadow brushes to do this eyeshadow look, and it turned out really good. I'm very impressed with the brush quality, but if I'm being completely honest, I'm not too shocked, as Morphe does make really good eyeshadow brushes at an affordable price. Seriously, you cannot go wrong with Morphe brushes. Very good quality. They blend out your product so good. From eyeshadow brushes to foundation brushes, you just can't go wrong with them. But eyeshadow brushes aren't the only brushes Morphe came out with. They also came out with some new face brushes. I'm really excited to get into these. Like I said, I love the Morphe brushes. They're amazing. I just hope these face brushes are just as good. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hey babes, and welcome back to part 2 of using the new Morphe brushes to do a full face. Really quick, let's go through all of the brushes to see which ones I'm going to use today in this video, because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to use all of them. If you haven't watched part 1 already, please go watch part 1 and then of course come back so you can finish up part 2. I purchased only one brush set and then I purchased a bunch of individual brushes. I do believe they have another brush set that's totally different from this one. You'll just have to look at them and see which one you're trying to go for. I decided to pick up the portrait mode one, especially for this foundation brush, and this bronzer brush really piqued my interest. This is what the M162 tapered powder brush looks like. I'm pretty sure you can use this for any of your powdered products, powdered blush, your regular setting powders, powdered bronzers. You can use it for that. I think it's amazing. I think it would be perfect for any of that, but it is designed just for the powdered formulas. Next, we have the M106, and this one is a flat top cream and liquid foundation brush. Whenever I get a foundation brush like this, I always want to use it for primers or moisturizers because I don't always like to use my hands to apply it. I feel like it is sometimes better just to use a brush like this to do it, but we're definitely going to see if this one is great for foundation. Then we have the M164 brush. This is just a small tapered powder brush, probably good for the very inner corners of the face, maybe around the nose area would be good, but it's just a smaller version of the other one. It's definitely just a smaller version of the bigger brush. Like I said, I feel like this would be really, really good for areas along the center of the face, along the nose, very inner corners. I feel like it would be great. Next, we have the M242, which is supposed to be a cream or liquid brush. I'm pretty sure you can use it for your cream blushes or your cream bronzers, liquids alike. It's supposed to be designed for those. Morphe also has the M240 brush, which actually came out a few months ago. This one is supposed to be designed for cream and liquid bronzers. If you look at them, they look very similar. The new one, and this is the older one. Really not much of a difference, but I mean, they decided to make two brushes, I guess. The last brush in that set is the M131, which is supposed to be a flat concealer brush. Okay, I take that back. It's actually a rounded paddle concealer brush. I already know that I'm not gonna like this brush at all. I like more of a bare paw concealer brush. I like for it to be nice and dense to really pack that concealer on where I need it. With that being said, I grabbed up the M132 concealer brush. I was absolutely not leaving the store without this brush. I love a good concealer brush. My favorite one is the Makeup by Mario F5 brush. If you've been watching my content for a while, you know I love that brush down boots. This is what that brush is giving. This is definitely more my style. It looks and feels nice and dense to where it's really gonna pack that concealer the way I need for it to. The M241 powdered bronzer brush was an absolute must. I love a good powdered bronzer as well, and to find a brush that's going to pair with it just as good is definitely mandatory. This is what the brush is giving. You have that nice angle to it. I do think this brush might be a little too soft for powdered bronzer. It's almost so soft that it feels like it'll literally be better for you just to swipe the bronzer on instead of how I normally do whenever I just stamp it. I just don't think it's going to be as good. We can't forget a blush brush, so I got the M201. Looking at this brush, it looks extremely soft. I do think this brush is going to be amazing for your blush brush is going to give you that nice airbrushed finish. Lastly, to finish the whole face, we have the new M161 all over face brush. So of course you would use this brush to just set your whole face. Sometimes I use a brush like this, and then sometimes I like to use a powder puff. I'm really hoping that this brush is going to set my face well. I just think it's extremely soft and very flimsy. I love their other brush way more. This is Morphe's older brush and I love it. I went trying to purchase this to only find out that they made new brushes and that they no longer have it. I was very disappointed. Like I said, I love this brush. It's amazing for setting the whole face. I just hope this one gives the same energy. I've already primed my face, so let's hop right into using the foundation and the foundation brush. For foundation, I'm going to use the Maybelline Super Stay Lumi Matte Foundation. This one's in the shade 368. I'm gonna pump just a little bit on this painted palette. Grabbing that new foundation brush, we're gonna go right in. Make sure the brush is nice and coated, and we're gonna go right on the face with it. Now, it does say that this brush is designed for tapping and buffing out the foundation. So we're just going to tap this all over to see what kind of finish it gives. I will say I'm liking how it's looking so far, but let me go ahead and finish this up and I'll be right back. Okay, so my thoughts on this foundation brush aren't the best. Honestly, it took me way too long to blend out my foundation and I just don't like that. And I think the reason is because this brush is very small, and with it being small, you don't really get to cover a lot of area, so I had to do a lot of tapping. Granted, my foundation still looks amazing, so that is definitely a plus. Let's go right in with the concealer brush using the Win Beauty concealer in the shade 300 Shift. Y'all, it is so creamy. The coverage is so good. I honestly don't think it's talked about enough. It literally has to be my favorite high-end concealer so far. I really hope this brush doesn't let me down because it looks like it might be a second favorite of mine, because nothing is ever going to top my Makeup by Mario concealer brush. So let's go right in. I'm just going to tap this in to see what it's giving. If it's going to take away some of the product, is it going to evenly distribute some of the product, just to see exactly what it's going to do. So I'm just taking my foundation brush back over the edges of that concealer, and I must say the concealer is amazing. I just absolutely love the Win Beauty concealer. If you haven't tried it out yet, you should definitely give it a try and let me know in the comments what you think of it. But as far as the concealer brush is good. Now, is it better than my Makeup by Mario concealer brush? Absolutely not. I knew it wasn't going to top that one, but it was definitely a really good try. I went ahead and set all of my areas of concealer with powder. I'm going to go in with this powder bronzers from Juvia's Place. This one's in the shade Dark, and I feel like Dark is just perfect because it adds that warmth back into the skin. I'm going to use that new M241 brush, and I'm just going to mix into both of these. Just to add that warmth back into the skin, I'm going to just stamp it on like I normally would. So I like to hit those areas, go right above on the forehead, get into the hairline, bring it on, then just go up under the chin. It might look a little crazy at the moment, but just look at how it centers the face. It gives you that warmth around the border, brings it in. It makes the center of your face look nice and bright. I think this is so cute. Whenever we do blend the whole face together with the all over face brush, is really going to tie it all together. But I will say this brush is definitely used to tap the product in. I would not recommend swiping with it. Swiping doesn't do just as good. Be sure you're tapping that in. For blush, I'm going to use this one from Kemone Cosmetics. And I think I want to use this shade right here and maybe a little bit of this one over here. Kind of just ombre it in. We are going to use that new blush brush, and I really feel like this brush is going to give you that nice airbrush finish when it comes to your blush. So let's dip right into it. Just look at how it's picking up that pigment, just going right in with it. And yes, this is definitely giving the results that I wanted. This is so pretty. With this brush, I think it's totally fine if you stamp it on, or you can swipe it on to give you that nice airbrush look. Okay, but this is really cute. Like this blush shade, the way this brush is applying the blush, it is simply amazing. I definitely think I'm going to want to get a backup for the backup of this brush. That's how much I think it's really good. Of course, don't forget to hit that nose a little bit with the blush. I just think it's such a cute little touch. Like, I never forget it. Literally almost done. To set the whole face, I'm going to use the all over powder face brush and this Fenty setting powder in the shade Nutmeg. Just love this Fenty powder. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think it's amazing as an all over face powder. I'm gonna dip into it just a little bit and we're just gonna go all over the face and just set. Why does this brush feel amazing? I think it might be my new favorite brush, honestly, because it's soft but not too soft. I feel like it's doing what it needs to do. Hugs the face really well. I think this is amazing. I think this is a really, really good brush. It might even outdo my other brush. That brush is simply amazing. Wow. Definitely give me 14 of them immediately. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up using the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. I love, love, love this. This is amazing. You can use it just about in between all of your makeup steps, but I like to use it just at the end for the most part. Let that dry down, put on a little bit of gloss, and then we are out the door. All right, babes, this is the final look using the new Morphe brushes, and I must say these brushes are really decent. I expected nothing less from Morphe. They're literally the OG when it comes to brushes. If you haven't tried out the Morphe brushes in general, I definitely recommend it, especially if you're new to makeup. They're really going to help you out. When I first started doing makeup, Morphe brushes were the first brushes that I ran to. I don't regret it at all. You get a nice experience with just about each and every brush. Anyway, thank y'all so much for watching my video. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your notification bells so you know when your girl drops another video.